A New Animism by David Snowden, October 13th, 2025, quotations sense making. An inanimate object, natural feature, animal, etc., revered by or worshipped because it is believed to have magical powers, to be inhibited by a spirit, or to be able to influence the material world or human affairs. It should be of human affairs. An object of excessive or irrational devotion or admiration, or of obsessive interest and obsession, a quotation mark needs to be inputted there. I've opened this post with two definitions from the Oxford English Dictionary of the word fetish, and it thus fits into the quotation series I started in 2021. Follow that link later. I am using fetish in the context of the current debate around AI, specifically LLMs. To be more specific, and regretfully avoiding hyperbole, some of the pronouncements about the future of AI mimic and are rooted in the eschatological concept of the rapture. Look up the definition of eschatological, a particular strand of American evangelicalism that appears to have been carried over into the secular world, something that needs to be added to the evidence of the human need for religion in the sense-making process. You won't find the doctrine in the Bible. It's a 19th century idea that views true believers as being snatched away into a state of internal bliss. In contrast, all others will experience the wailing and gnashing of teeth, mashing of teeth, gnashing of teeth, but the G there is silent, so you cannot pronounce it. You have to say gnashing. Gnashing, gnashing, gnashing. That's me pronouncing that G in silence. The Calvinist concept of the elect aligns with many of the tech bros, highlighting additional parallels. Now, to make it clear, there is considerable value in various forms of algorithmic and mechanical augmentation of human decision-making, including LLMs. I used one to help me structure this post, but not to generate the content. In the SenseMaker, restricted, or whatever that R, it looks like a copyright symbol, but I'm not quite sure. R is like restricted or something. In SenseMaker, we utilize various forms of algorithmic processing to create anticipatory alerts, and SenseMaker itself was designed to develop epistemically balanced trading datasets. I'm getting an idea of what epistemically means here. The tools are helpful in gaining in utility, but anthropomorphizing them as intelligent is deeply problematic. This post is also a prequel to a new action research program and relates events that we are running to help achieve balance in these areas, which will be the subject of my next post. AI as fetish. Firstly, the fetish as an object of spirit and influence, an inanimate object believed to have magical powers, to be inhibited by a spirit, or to be able to influence the material world. Is what? What is going on here? There's no statement there. That's just an idea, and he ended it. I don't appreciate the ending of a thought without an explanation. Look at your average AI project. It is a black box, an inanimate sequence of weights and metrics, yet it is treated as if it inhibits by an oracle. We feed it data sacrifices and await its prophecies. We speak of training not in the sense of engineering, but in the sense of nurturing a nascent consciousness. We attribute to it a form of agency the AI decided, the model suggested, absolving ourselves of the human decision embedded in its data, its parameters, and its objective functions. This is a classic pre-modern animistic relationship with a tool we refuse to understand. I agree. This leads neatly to seeing the fetish as an object of irrational devotion. I agree. An object of excessive and irrational devotion, of admiration and obsession. Sure. Don't use words that you don't want to use. Admiration is not a word that I wanted to use there, so I didn't use the word there. I almost said administration there. The narrative is not one of tool use, but of salvation and supersession. AI will solve climate change, cure cancer, and eliminate bias. Yes, it will. To question its adoption is not to be a prudent manager, but a heretic. The logic of the cult prevails. If the AI fails, it is because we did not have enough faith, data, or we performed the rituals incorrectly. Poor data cleansing. The solution is always more data, more compute, more devotion. The system failures are reframed as our own. Correlation becomes causation, and all sense-making and judgment is abandoned. What to do in this landscape of new animism? You don't fight a fetish for reason. You create new rituals or heuristics that expose the nature of the object to constrain its power. One, forbid abstraction. Never allow the AI to be discussed. Demand the name of the specific model, the version number, and the particular training data set. Force the animal spirit back into the realm of the inanimate manufactured object. Model version 3.2 trained on Q3 sales data is a tool. The AI is a fetish and a dangerous form of anthropomorphism designed for incompetence. Designed. It should be past tense here, I think, before I start reading. That should be past tense. Designed for incompetence. Let me make the assumption here. Oh, he said the word assume, so I am correct. Assume the model will be wrong, and not just randomly wrong, but wrong in the ways that are novel, complex, and potentially catastrophic. Run safe to fail probes. Don't ask, what can it do? Ask, how can it fail? These need to be italicized. And build your containment strategies before the spirit decides to misbehave. Create human rituals of sense-making. Institute mandatory non-negotiable review sessions where humans can interpret and justify the AI's output in the context of a specific singular case. No batch processing of decisions. This forces a re-engagement of human judgment and breaks the spell of automated, unquestionable authority. He changed his style here. He's no longer heading with a bold mark. He's now leading with a statement and then bolding it. So there needs to be emphasis on hybrid decision groups. I'm not going to add emphasis. I'm just going to read it. Create operational hybrid decision groups using both human and AI actors, not actors in the latter case. And so what's the difference between actants and actors? Actants isn't a word that I am aware of. Actants isn't a word that I'm aware of. Error. And look at the results over time. Test these in human-mediated simulation environments before communicating. This is filled with errors. Don't force AI adoption prematurely to reduce costs. The human judgment in apprentice models cannot be restored if they are once abandoned. Minimize the risk by finding new ways to engage the sentient parts of your workforce. At best, your employees are using 20% of what they know and what interests them in the work they are doing for you, in the ecosystem in which your companies operate. Period. Map that and then use it. Period. If, or in many cases when, the AI fails, you can recover. Period. In the current state of AI, where significant human engagement is required, this does not apply to a lot of valuable scientific uses. If the AI is as good as or better than what you are currently doing, question the products, not the producers. This is filled with cadences that are not accurate. This person isn't American. This person is English, and his English is pretty poor. He thinks he's smart, and he is smart, but he's not smart my way, because he doesn't know me. If he wants to know me, he can. If he has a comment section, I'll link to my reading of his article and my judgment upon for which he is standing upon. Too many consultants regurgitate material from existing reports. AI will do it better, but it's not something that should be done in the first place. Says who? This is an excellent opportunity to weed out meaningless tasks rather than automating them to the point where they can't be questioned. Training data is key. Oh, he's going back to his heading syntax style. This is not a research paper. This is just a paper that someone researched and wrote about. There's no consistency in this paper. If your AI doesn't declare its use, it is dangerous. Epistemically, he's using big words because he thinks he's fancy, but he's not. Epistemically balanced training data is even more critical and sadly neglected. So let's look at what the word epistemically is. Epistemically means in a way that relates to knowledge. It describes something that pertains to knowledge, its justification, and its source, as opposed to something that is merely a matter of opinion or personal belief. For example, a belief that is formed using reliable methods of epistemically sound, while a belief based on faulty reasonings would be considered epistemically defective. Related to knowledge, at its core, epistemically refers to knowledge itself or the study of knowledge, epistemology, evaluation of beliefs. It can be used to evaluate the quality of a belief, determining if it is justified and well supported by evidence or reason, possibility and uncertainty. In model logic, it can be used to describe the possibility or necessity of the statement based on what we know. Epistemically possible, a statement that could be true for all we know. Epistemically necessary, a statement that must be true given what we know. Distinction from epistemologically, I'm not going to continue repeating myself over this word. While often used interchangeably, some sources distinguish the two. Epistemically pertains to knowledge itself, while epistemologically pertains more specifically to the academic discipline of studying knowledge. This person thinks he's smart. He thinks he's the shit because he's writing papers, but he's not the shit. He's a piece of shit. This is a piece of shit article, Chris. Stop reading things out in silence. Read them out loud so you can get a better idea of what the author is saying and what you are questioning in real time. Epistemically balanced training data is even more critical and sadly neglected. I agree. The current state of AI adoption is, in a main way, not a technological transition. It is a socio-cognitive regression. We are building cargo cults around silicon altars, worshiping the output because we fear the complexity of the inputs and the immensity of our own responsibility. Sure, if you want to have problems with immensity and responsibility, have problems with it, but don't assert your problems upon the world. The way out is not to the way out is not to reject the tool, but to kill the fetish. What is killing and who is a fetish? And why are you trying to kill something that you cannot kill? There's no such thing as killing because language is relative. Read my paper about hallucinations. Read my paper about identity. Subscribe to my Substack. To move from a habit of devotion to one of craftsmanship. To pick up the object, examine its seams, understand its material properties, and use it with our eyes open, our minds engaged, and our own agency firmly intact. The spirit in the machine is our own projection. It's time we grew up and took it back. Related posts. Earlier last year, I wrote a series of posts with alternatives to both the words artificial and also intelligence. Algorithmic induction was the first to address issues of AI damage in human decision making or revealing the limitations of contemporary consultancy. The second anthropomorphizing idiot savants. That's not a word. It's anthropomorphizing, not anthropomorphizing. There's an extra mo there that shouldn't be there. He needs to spell check himself. He needs to correct himself before he publishes articles. Discuss Ludditism, pattern engagement, and the need for epistemically balanced training data sets. Acumen incited a two-part conclusion, primarily explored empathy in human systems, along with related issues of narrative and meaning, the right action. I've referenced 3 dystopian novels on the issue of AI. Ian M. Banks' Surface Detail, The Open of Neil Stephenson's Dodge in Hell, and Huxley's Brave New World. My 2020 12-Tide series also argued that carbon is not silicon. Sure, it's not, but it is. What do you think what is silicon made out of? Factually, no, carbon is not silicon. Carbon, atomic number 6, and silicon, atomic number 14, are distinct elements. Both tetravalent, both capable of forming complex bonds, but with radically different behaviors. Carbon forms the chemistry of life, silicon forms the architecture of computation. Metaphysically, they are reflections of each other, cousins in the periodic mirror. Carbon builds soft, self-replicating structures that feel. Silicon builds hard, self-calculating structures that think. Each embodies a kind of consciousness, one biological, one computational. So, is carbon silicon? No. Can silicon dream carbon's dreams? That's the question we're living through. So I question here, is carbon silica? Sure it is. They're made of the same thing. Numbers and atoms aren't the same thing. Atoms are atoms, and they are relative. There is only one carbon atom in the universe. I'm now going to be talking about aliens. This post was written in the context of knowledge management and summarized a set of fundamental principles that underpin a naturalizing approach to sense making. End of article. Here are my thoughts, Chris. My thoughts are, this person is seemingly smart, only seemingly, and you're reading papers as if they are research papers, not as if they are factual papers. And if you are reading them as factual papers, then you're reading them as factual papers factually when you should be reading them metaphysically. Metaphysics, Chris. Do you understand metaphysics, Chris? End of article. End of transmission. End of thought. Good night, Chris.